Alright, fellow hunters, time to take a look at the second episode of Supernatural Season 3, The Kids Are Alright. A woman named Dana Keel steps outside the door of her house on a cold night. Her ex-husband, Richard Keel, pulls in the driveway with her daughter, Katie, who comes running out of the car into her mother's arms, frightened completely. Richard frustratingly explains she begged him to bring her back. When her mother questions Katie as to why she didn't want to stay with her dad, she reveals that there are monsters at his house who are scaring her. Later that evening, Richard's doing some woodwork in his garage. He looks up at the clock, which reads 12:55 a.m. He decides to call it a night. As he's walking to the door, we see something creeping around behind the car. When he shuts the light off in the garage, a power saw flips on. He walks back over to the table and turns the blade off. When he once more extinguishes the light, the blade starts running again. He walks back over, and as he turns around, something attacks him from behind the car, causing him to fall and the blade flat on his back. Blood comes gushing out of his mouth as he lies dead on the table. Ooh. Sam was on the phone with Bobby discussing a possible way to get Dean out of his demon deal, but immediately hangs up when Dean walks in. Dean informs Sam about the death of the men Cicero and Deanna who fell on Power Saw, but also confesses that he wants to go visit an old flame of his named Lisa, who he hooked up with 8 years ago. Despite Sam's feelings, he agrees to take the drive out there. Dean drops Sam off at a local motel in the area and drives up to a small upclass neighborhood called Morning Hill. Dean shows up on Lisa's doorstep and she's incredibly surprised to see him. An awkward long moment of silence occurs before she tells him that he came at a bad time because they're having a party. However, Dean persuades her to invite him in. Lisa tells him the party's for her son Ben, who's 8 years old. When Dean meets Ben, he's appalled by the shocking resemblance Ben has to Dean. He looks just like Dean, dresses just like Dean, and also appears to have love for AC/DC. When Dean approaches Ben, he finds Ben's choice of phrases seem odd for an 8-year-old, such as, "This moon bounce is epic," and "It's like hot chick city out there." Back inside the house, Lisa's talking to Dana Keel. She tells Lisa she's got a very bad feeling that Katie isn't Katie, that the girl sitting next room is not her daughter. Lisa dismisses her theory and tells her that she's been through a lot and that she's going to get her some help. Dean approaches Lisa and comes right out and asks her if Ben is his son, due to the high resemblance in him turning 8. Lisa assures him that he's not the father. God, bullshit. Sam is sitting in the local diner when Ruby walks in and joins him at the table. Sam immediately asks her about the knife she had. She doesn't reveal much except that it sure does come in handy when you're tracking down demons. When he asks her why she's following him, she tells him that she's a hunter and that she's interested in him because he's the sole survivor of the special psychic kids whom the Yellow-Eyed Demon had plans for. She still thinks there's plans out there for Sam, especially after what the Yellow-Eyed Demon did to Mary and her friends. However, Ruby sees that Sam has a little catching up to do when she notices the blank look in his eye. She tells him to dig into Mary's past, her friends, and then to give her a call and they'll talk again. After she walks out of the diner, Dean calls and informs him that there's a job in town. Apparently there were 4 other accidents prior to Katie's dad's death that went unreported. There's something going on in this community that the residents can't escape. Dana wakes up from a nap on the couch to find Katie sitting next to her, watching her sleep. Katie gives Dana a hug, and Dana notices in the mirror that Katie's skin is old, wrinkly, and gray in her reflection. Sam visits one of the previous victims' houses and tries to dig up any clues about the death. He notices 2 small splatters of what appears to be blood on the window sill on one of the houses. He also notices a strange red mark on the back of the woman's neck. Her daughter stares out of the window at them unnervingly. Later, Dana gives Kate her food and heads up to the bathroom to inspect something in her neck. She locks herself in, but Kate comes up and bangs on the door repeatedly, yelling at Dana to let her in. Dana, getting increasingly more panicked, tells her daughter to hang on. The doorbell rings and Kitty goes down to answer it. Meanwhile, Dean pays a visit to the neighborhood park where he finds Ben sitting on the bench by himself, all sad. Dean goes over by him and asks what's wrong. Ben tells him a bully stole his game and won't give it back. Dean says he will go get it, but Ben objects, saying, "Only a bitch to send a grown-up over, and I'm not a bitch." Dean uses this as an opportunity to teach Ben a thing or two. He tells Ben to go over and fight to get his game back. Ben walks over and gives the kid a kick where it hurts. However, Lisa isn't a bit pleased when she sees what's going on. She tells Dean to leave the 2 of them alone and walks off. Ben runs back to give Dean a hug before they leave. Aww. Back at Dana's house, she and Katie get in the car to go for ice cream. Looking to the river mirror, Dana doesn't see Katie, but sees the face of a monster. She now knows that the girl is not her daughter. Dana drives the car to the nearby lake, but gets out of the car and gets on the car sink to the bottom with Katie inside. However, she returns home only to find Katie sitting in the kitchen dripping wet. Dean returns to the motel, telling Sam that something's wrong with the kids in this town. Sam informs Dean that there's a changeling in every victim's home. Changelings can easily mimic children. They sneak into the house through the kid's window and snatch the kid, and always leaves a blood stain near the windowsill. They then take the kid's form and feed off the mother, which causes the mothers to have a red scar on the back of their necks. Usually, changeling will feed on the mother for 3 weeks before she croaks out. The changelings take the real kids and stashes them somewhere underground, which means they could still be alive. The only way to kill a changeling is by torching them. Dean wastes no time at all and makes a stop back at Lisa's house and discovers that Ben has been taken by the changeling when he notices the red stains on the windowsill. Ben tells his mother to make Dean go away. Lisa acquiesces, coolly telling Dean, "You heard him." In the car, Dean informs Sam of his find and states that the stains aren't blood, but that he knows where they'll probably find the missing children. The boys head over to a vacant home that's under renovation where they think the kids might be trapped, and Sam realizes the red stains he saw in fact were smudges of red dirt from the construction site. They find all the kids trapped in cages in the house. However, they also encounter the mother changeling taking on the form of an adult woman, the neighborhood realtor. This creature puts up quite a fight. She's not going down easily. Ben and Dean manage to get all the kids out of the house, and after several rounds of kicks and punches, the boys find torch the mother changeling to shreds, which in return causes all the changeling children to dissipate into thin air. Dean returns to Ben to Lisa, who is overjoyed that he's okay. Dean explains to her about the changeling, which she finds very hard to believe. Looking at Ben listening to music, he asks again if she's sure that Ben is not his son. She tells Dean that she had a blood test done when Ben was a baby and he's off the hook. Dean looks very disappointed because he has got a year left to live, and what is he going to leave behind? He also realizes that as much as Ben is a phenomenal kid, this is not his life and he's willing to accept that. Sam's called Ruby over and tells her that he found out all Mary's friends and family were systematically killed one at a time. Ruby tells Sam that's the work of the yellow-eyed demon covering his tracks. Sam finally demands that she tell him who she is, which he initially refuses. However, after Sam begins to lose his temper, she finally reveals her demonic black eyes. Sam, now realizing that she's one of the demons that they allowed Devil's Gate, reaches in his bag for the holy water. Ruben says that she shouldn't be so quick. Ruben says that he shouldn't be so quick to pull the gun on her. She says that she is here to help. She says that she is there to help them. She doesn't know why the yellow-eyed demon killed all of Mary's friends, but she does know that it has something to do with what the yellow-eyed demon did to him when he was a baby, and that Ruby wants to help him find out what that is. Ruby also tells him that if he allows her to help him, there's something in it for him. She could help him save Dean from his demonic deal. Interesting. So now let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. This is the first appearance of Ben Braden. This is the first appearance of Lisa Braden. Ruby previously appeared in The Magnificent Seven. And now finally let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. The episode's title is the name of an album, song, and a documentary on The Who. When Sam was researching changelings on the internet, each window has basically the same text. The text is mostly word for word from Wikipedia's entry on changelings. Katie's mom is reading The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. When Dean is entering the development where the children are at, the sign says sold out. But when Sam and Dean go to the house where the children are being held in cages, the sign in front of the house says for sale. The CW's official summary misspells actor Nicholas Elias. There's also another error where there should be a width between Tristan 9. Okay. Where Ruby meets with Sam in the diner, she says, that whole Anthony Michael ESP thing is a reference to The Dead Zone, or a TV show based off of a Stephen King novel. When Dean is sitting on a park bench to watch Ben send with some bullies, Dean gives Ben a thumbs up. A gif of this is included in the iconic early 2010 Tumblr post entitled Tumblr Code, where user BLTSL4 establishes that users can discreetly identify each other in public with the code. Identify each other in public with the code. I like your shoelaces. Okay. So overall, I think this episode is pretty darn good, and yes, and I am definitely one of those people who firmly believes that Ben is Dean's son. And if anyone doesn't believe that, well, hey, that's your opinion. But hey, you know what? I think that Ben is Dean's son, so there you go. Anyway, so overall, I give The Kids Are All Right 4 Impalas out of 5. Anyway, tune in as we take a look at the final episode of the day, Bad Day at Black Rock. So, until then, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.